It's been a while. I mean, because when we first started writing, we didn't think it was going to really go anywhere. We were just, we've just been friends for so long, and we were just writing to write, just for fun, and it just kind of grew organically.
What's that writing process like? Can you walk us through like how like you go through building a song with Tim?
Well, I mean, it depends on the song. Like we've had songs where I've had an idea and I've brought it to Tim and we've kind of like built around my idea. And then we've had other sessions where Tim's had got an idea that he's kind of started and then we finish it together. And sometimes we'll just be in the studio and we'll write something there and then and we'll get like the whole like bones laid, like the foundation laid, and we work really fast. We usually, write a song or a couple of songs in a couple of hours. So it's we've got a lot of stuff that didn't end up on the album, which is going to be on the next album.
Mm.
So we've already got a lot of stuff. So it's really fun to write with Tim. He's a really great guy, and I've learned a lot from him. He's kind of like my mentor now. So
He seems like he's pretty into co-writing with people. Like he likes to collaborate with people. So it seems like, and maybe I'm sure you know better than we would, but that he's got a spirit of like idea exchange.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's an amazing artist. He loves to write, and there's always people coming in and out of the studio just writing for fun, and he's really great to work with. I feel very blessed and honored to get to work with him. And the rest of the guys in the band too, are really awesome. Like once I brought the guys in, we had a lot of the songs pretty much finished. And then we brought the guys in and we like fully finished them and got their flavor on it. And then we kept writing and we wrote a lot of more songs all together. So it's been a crazy process of like, it started out just me and Tim, and now it's all of us. So there's like a mixture of like a lot of different flavors. I think that's why all of the songs are they're all very different. They all kind of have their own life to them. And it's because like the way we write is always like kind of, we just go with the flow.
Is he flexible when it comes to working? When you work with Tim, is he flexible, or is he kind of like, here's my idea, and kind of really pushing his idea?
Oh no, he's so flexible. Like his saying is there are no bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So we just play around with stuff, and usually though there really are no bad ideas. Like we make great stuff together. But he's always down to try stuff, and he's really flexible with the way he writes. And it's just really fun to collaborate, because we're both so easygoing, and and we're all very respectful of each other's art and the ideas that we bring to the table.
You were releasing pop songs as early as when, 2016?
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of poppier. It wasn't really me though. I was just kind of trying. I was working with this old producer and my old producer, and like I was kind of trying to see because I was greenhorn with it, and I was just trying to find my voice, and so it definitely ended up being a bit poppy, but it never really felt like me, like I've always envisioned myself as being in a band as opposed to like a pop singer. Like I love pop music, but I just never really saw myself like that. I always saw myself as more like in the alt world.
Mm-hmm. So you had an interest in getting into music, and that sort of was the first kind of the main door that opened for you, was to do music in that way.
Yeah, that was definitely the first like big thing that I had done. And it was fun. It was definitely an experience. It was a learning experience. And the main thing that I learned was that it wasn't really me, and that I wanted to do something else. So, and I ended up feeling a bit lost after a while, because like the music that I was making, I wasn't really feeling, and I kind of didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. And And I was like, even the music that I was releasing, it was kind of, even then it was kind of all over the place, you know, like some was kind of dancier, and then some was like more like alt pop kind of vibe. And that was when, you know, and then I started writing with Tim, and it was a few years before I started being like, I think this is the thing that I want to do. Like, because at first I was like, oh, this is just like a fun side project, you know, or just writing some rock steady. Because the initial idea was to write old school rock steady. Like we were wanting to really emulate 1960s early ska. And so yeah, that was kind of just my like little back burner thing that I was doing for fun, and then it just kind of turned into the main thing,
Yeah.
which I'm not mad about.
1960s ska, rocksteady type stuff. Did you have a connection to that in your youth? Like, was it music that was around?
Yeah, my friends that I mentioned, she was actually the one that introduced me to that kind of music, because I grew up really religious, and so I didn't really listen to a lot of like, you know, I didn't really grow up listening to a lot of different genres. It was mostly just soul and jazz and Christian music, you know. And when I became a teenager and started exploring and being a bad girl, I was like, you know, I was mostly into metal. And then I met my friends, and we were big stoners and listened to Bob Marley and the Jamaicans, and you know, and like Alton Ellis and stuff like that. And that was what really gave me the love of reggae and ska, and also the specials. Like I mean, growing up in the UK, obviously two-tone ska has always been really big out there. So I do remember hearing two-tone on the radio growing up, but I just never like, you know, because I never like bought records, because you know I was little and
You said you grew up in a religious household. I mean, Aaron and I both grew up in religious households, and I think both of us, our parents weren't super into music. How did your parents have a connection to music?
Yeah, my dad is he was an actor and a singer, as well as a missionary, but he did a lot of everything. He's a bit like me, you know. He started out as a missionary. That's why we ended up in Scotland. And he would do um like interactive drama and songs, and like record records, but it was all like Christian themed stuff. So I remember being in the studio with him as like a baby basically, and like messing around with all the equipment and playing with the microphones and stuff like that. And my dad, like, he still sings in the church choir. And yeah, he's definitely like my biggest connection to music. He loves jazz, and we grew up listening to like Earth, Wind and Fire. And I also loved Michael Jackson growing up. That was like one of my favorites. That was like the only pop music I was allowed to listen to was Michael Jackson.
There's a cover of Amy Winehouse, uh, Amy that you did. I think around 2017, around this time, you're doing the pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great rendition, and I think it's Adam Porras is in your band now.
Yeah, that was around the time we first started working together. I was doing my solo project, and we got in the studio and started writing, and like there was an immediate connection. Like we actually played, I was singing and he was playing at the same time. Like I was recording in the studio, and we just had this immediate like, damn, this is really working. Like we should keep doing this. So when I did do shows with my solo stuff, it was always with Adam. And also he brought in Clarence. So we've been working together for a long, long time.
Mm.
But yeah, I love Amy Winehouse. That's one of my favorite Amy Winehouse songs.
I feel like of the early stuff, of your early stuff on YouTube, that's probably my favorite video. It feels like, I don't know, like, because you talked about having kind of like, you know, I'm not sure if it was you, but that's the one that felt the most like sincere, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was definitely when I feel like I was really starting to find my feet at that point with the direction that I wanted to go, with my singing style. Because I mean, like I said, I grew up listening to jazz and soul and